What's up guys, it's Athletic Education, the channel where I take your training to the next level, and I'm back with another video. So in this video I'm going to be talking about plyometrics, and I'm going to talk about how it can help you and how you can incorporate it into your workout so you can make the best possible gains and prevent injuries. And in this video I'm going to make sure I put somewhere in the video a free week of training, so you guys make sure you watch out for that. What are plyometrics? Plyometrics, also known as jump training, are plyos or exercises in which muscles exert maximum force in short intervals of time. With the goal of increasing power, this training focuses on learning to move from a muscle extension to a muscle contraction in a rapid or explosive manner, such as in specialized repeated jumping. Okay, so we have the definition of plyometrics, but how does it actually work in relation to your muscles and tendons? When we perform plyometrics, our muscles and tendons go through a stretch shortening cycle. In this stretch cycle, also known as the eccentric phase, our muscles lengthen. During this lengthening, our muscles store elastic energy. Think of it as a rubber band. The stored energy is then used once our muscles shortens, also called the concentric phase, again like a rubber band. Plyometrics are mostly utilized for athletes that perform explosive movements such as basketball players, football players, soccer players, sprinters, jumpers, and throwers in the sport of track and field. The list goes on. However, anyone can do plyometrics. As a matter of fact, I would recommend that anyone looking to take their training to the next level should incorporate them into their workout. Before implementing plyometrics into your routine, you first must understand how it affects your body and the impact it has on your body. Plyometrics are extremely hard on the body, from your muscles, tendons, ligaments, bones, and even your central nervous system. During plyometrics, our bodies are moving quickly and powerfully. We are asking a lot from our bodies. As we do plyometrics, the wear and tear accumulates. That is why it is extremely important to slowly build up the volume and difficulty of the movement. It's much better to perform plyometrics regularly for long periods of time than performing a lot in one day and hurting yourself, forcing you out of action. I will talk about exactly how to first incorporate plyometrics later in the video so that you can get the best sustainable results. Now, what are the advantages of plyometrics? Plyometrics boost speed and power, something we all want. It does this by shortening the time between the concentric and eccentric phase, and this leads to an improvement in power and speed. The faster your muscles can generate power, the faster and more explosive you'll become. Plyometrics also increase strength. With more power and speed comes more strength. However, you need to really build a good strength foundation before implementing plyometrics. I will get into that later in the video. Plyometrics are a full body exercise. They require a lot of energy because they are so intense. They target so many different muscle groups at once. The muscle groups you use, the more calories you burn, and the more efficient your body becomes at utilizing your muscles. One of my favorite added bonuses of plyometrics is that it enhances your muscle coordination and rhythm. If you're ever taking a long break from an activity like jumping, you realize quickly that you feel awkward when you first attempted after a long layoff. The more coordinated you are, the better you will perform the movement and also lower the risk of injury. Now, let's get into designing a plyometrics program. As I mentioned earlier, plyometrics are very hard on the body. Therefore, there are proper steps you must take before creating a plyometrics program. To lower your risk of injury during plyometrics, it is best to first build a strong base through weightlifting. This properly prepares your body for the strain of the plyometrics. You also have to work on your flexibility. Flexibility is extremely important in plyometrics training, or any form of training for that matter. Again, think of it as a rubber band. The further back you can pull the rubber band, the further it will go. A tight rubber band is also a lot more likely to tear with minimal pull. The same goes for your muscles. You can work on your flexibility by performing dynamic stretches and rolling out every day or at least 5 days a week. When you get into the actual design of the program, you need to figure out what you're training for. Your training will be different depending on your sport or event. Therefore, your form of training depends on that. However, there are general plyometrics that anyone can incorporate as long as you're able. An example would be box jumps or depth jumps. When designing a program, there are 6 variables you must focus on. Now, this information comes directly from a scientific research, and I'll leave the link below. First is neuromuscular overload, apply loads and distances. This refers to a rapid change of direction of a limb or the entire body without external loads. The number of reps, sets, and body movement contribute to the total overload. Then we have temporal overload, or timing. Temporal overload can be accomplished by concentrating on executing the movement as rapidly and intensely as possible. Keeping the time as short as possible is one of the keys to performing plyometrics exercises for increased power production. As mentioned earlier, plyometrics are intense. When forming a program, you have to fully understand the type of intensity you're exerting. In plyometrics, the type of exercise performed controls the intensity. Plyometric exercises can come in many forms and intensities. Some activities such as bilateral jump into a box are lower level plyometrics, while others such as single leg jumps from a box are intense. I believe volume is extremely important in plyometrics and any form of training. Here is an exact quote from the research mentioned earlier. Volume is the total work performed in a single session or cycle. In the case of plyometric training, the volume is often measured by calculating the load, counting the number of repetitions, sets, etc. The specific activities such as number of throws and jumps, 50-foot contacts during a training session would be considered low volume, while 200 plus would be considered high volume. Volume should be increased in a progressive manner to decrease the risk of injury or overtraining. When training, we need to make sure that we increase volume over a period of time. Whenever I create programs for my athletes, my focus is on increasing the workload over a long period of time. This allows the athlete to build his or her body up throughout the weeks to handle the workload. Doing too much too fast surely leads to injury. Frequency is also another important factor. Frequency is the number of exercise sessions that take place during the training or rehabilitation cycle. Your frequency will depend on your level of fitness and training. For example, beginners should start off with 1 to 2 plyometric sessions a week, while someone that is conditioned can do 3 to 4 sessions a week. Now, I believe that recovery is the most important part of any training. Recovery is the time your body heals itself, and proper recovery is the best injury prevention. A lot of people believe that progress happens when they're performing the movement. That is false. The progress happens when you're recovering. Recovery between training sessions is usually 48 to 72 hours between exercise bouts with plyometrics is recommended. With that, I would say listen to your body. If you feel like your body is not ready for another session, do not force it. Your goal is to train over a long period of time to see the best results. With that said, the type of plyometrics you perform depends on your sport. Usain Bolt and LeBron James will not perform the same type of plyometrics training. LeBron will focus more on side-to-side and jumping movements, while Usain Bolt would focus on building power through a straight line sprint. Now, I'll give you my top 5 plyometric movements that help me run faster and jump higher. First, we have the jump squat. This is a simple but yet very effective movement that doesn't require equipment to start off with. Second, we have the tuck jumps. Tuck jumps do not require any equipment and you can do them almost anywhere. Third, we have depth jumps. Depth jumps are considered to be more advanced. You want to have a strong foundation before performing them. They take a heavy toll on your lower extremities. Fourth, we have hurdle hops. I think these might be my favorite ones. They work on quickness off the ground and getting height. The final one is power skips. I like to work on double leg and single leg plyometrics. As an athlete, it is important to be well-rounded. You never know what type of movement your body will be asked to do in a game situation. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I really enjoyed making it. And if you did, make sure you like and subscribe. And for the free week of training, you just gotta go into the description and click the link.